crafty friends, it's Diane the Creative Inkster, and today is Monday, April 17th. We're already at the middle of the month, if you can believe it. And I don't know about where you are, but here in Ontario, southern Ontario, we have freezing rain. It was horrible. After a beautiful 27, 28 degrees Celsius day yesterday, this was a shocker to the system. I do think we need rain for bringing some of those May flowers that are going to be coming up, but the freezing stuff can probably go to the wayside. I don't know about you. A couple of my friends are away on cruises and trips to somewhere warm and sunny, and I'm really happy for them. So while we are here, well, we just keep on crafting on. If you're watching live, let me know. Leave me a comment. It's always great to know who's out there in the ether listening to me. And if you're watching the replay, why, leave a comment on what you think. It's a fun and interesting technique that it can be done in a lot of different ways. But I just wanted to show you one way to use up your scraps. Now, I've done this paper, not paper piercing, paper stripping technique with 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. And tonight these are 1 inch strips, because when you cut off the edge of a 6x6 sheet, you will oftentimes have like upwards of a 1 inch strip. You can cut it in half and do these in 1/2 inch, but you know, it's a great way to use this up. Now this may look interesting and new to you. Tonight I'm playing with the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper. It's a 6x6 stack, and it comes with 48 sheets. So it would be 4 of 8 different patterns, and they are very celebratory. So there's some that are just kind of a nice, beautiful colors and sort of color blocking, and then others that have fun birthday type celebration papers or every day. So I like this stack. It's kind of fun to play with. And so half are going to be some color blocking, maybe even most of it one color, and then the other side is your pattern stuff. So I didn't have scraps left over, but I created 1 inch strips with this. So let's put that aside. This is coming out in the new annual catalog that starts in a couple of weeks on May the 2nd. All right, here are the pieces that you need to make this card. Let's see, we've got a card base in 4 1/4 by 11. So this is called, oh, hi Brenda. My news is that I won Stampin' Up! Door Prize from Scrapfest in Kitchener. Oh, that's exciting. Congratulations. Hi, Wendy. That's great. I'm happy for you, Brenda. That's awesome. It's always great to be a prize winner. This is Azure Afternoon, which is a new color. I don't even think it's been a color we've actually had before. It's one of the new colors that we're going to be, that is being launched. And so we're just making a card base with that. And I see that I have a little mark on there. I don't know where that came from. So what I'm going to do is put that to the back and it'll be fine. Then we've got a piece of a layer that's 4 by 5 1/4. So that's going to layer on here. Now this looks a lot like Parakeet Party, but let me show you the difference. Grab a piece here. So this is Parakeet Party, which is an in color from last year. This is Lemon Lime Twist, much more lemony looking. I mean, I always thought that was a super bold color, but when you get this neon color here beside it, very different. So, yeah, so this is a returning color. It was an in color, I don't know, 5 years ago, something like that, and it's one of the returning colors. So we've got that. And then I've also got a 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to go on the inside of my card. So let's start with getting that in here. Then it's out of the way. We don't have to think about it anymore. There we go. Awesome. Stick that on the inside. And if you like to decorate the inside of your card, you can do that as well. Sometimes you might want to decorate this before you stick it in. But I like to have it in there so that when I go to put these on my shelf or go to use them, I already have that in my darker card base. And so that's going to go on top here. I'm not going to glue it down yet. I like to build my cards from the bottom up, but I like to work on the final layer and then stick it all on the card base. I don't know. I think that's just a thing I do. Then this piece is 3 3/4 by 5. And you don't even notice it because it's the piece that all of these singles are going to be fit on. So it's gonna go on here. They're all going to be covering it up. So that's a piece we're going to work with. And I'm pulling out my silicone mat because it's going to get messy. So I tried a couple of things with my strips. I cut them to 4 by 1, first of all. And I cut, I think, 8, so 6 different patterns. No, I'm sorry, 4 different patterns. And I cut 8 of them. Or did I cut 2, 4, 6, 8? And some of them may be the backs to other ones. Yeah, those ones are. And I'm probably not going to use them all, so 6 to 8 is kind of a magic number to kind of go with. All right, but I've got some there ready to go. And I thought about using Stampin' Seal or like a tape runner across this, or even an adhesive sheet, and putting that all on it and building on top because there's absolutely no gaps. But I got to tell you, that is hard because when you stick your paper down to paper, it is there. And if I use liquid glue on the strip pieces, I can wiggle them in and out of place a little bit. So there's lots of different ways you can make this, build this. So I suggest that you get started just playing with the pieces, just laying them over each other. I love this circle one, so I want it to have a lot of real estate. And then one here. So yeah, you can play around and kind of get an idea. And then some of them you're going to cut the ends off, right? So you could use those as well. This kind of comes from the herringbone technique, where you would actually, if you're doing an actual herringbone, I tend to do them this way. You do one, and then everything comes out from there, and then you get another one that goes this way. So you have a couple going this way and a couple going that way, but they kind of build out like a fish. But this is a lot simpler. So you can kind of play with where you want things to go. And I found as I got this piece across here, that's kind of hidden by my greeting, got that piece laid down first. So I want this to be this pretty large pattern here. And then this piece, so that I don't have a lot of cutting, my plan was to cover up the point on the end. Actually, put it like this. And then this piece comes like so. And then let's see, we get another piece like this. And then I've just got a triangle at the bottom to kind of go with. I want to get this down so that I cover up. I don't want to have a whole bunch of little teeny triangles. So this takes a little bit of playing to get it just so you don't have too many pieces to place. So let's maybe start with this one like that in that corner. And then, yeah, then this can go like so this one will be a little bit different. That's totally fine. And then this piece like that. So I've got 2, 3 going up, and then my pieces that'll come off the top. That'll go vertical here. So this one, yeah, I don't know how I ended up with it being just so very different. How did I get that one on the end? Okay, so I went like this. All right, and then move these guys over. And then still get this one to cover off the corner. All right, boom. And then this guy up here. And then maybe this guy. And like I said, as you cut them off, well, then you can use the cut off pieces in your next segments. There. and we're going to cut it all off. So this is what we're going to go with. So I'm putting my mat down because I don't want it to be super messy. And I can actually go right on the white. And then I don't end up with lots of glue. If I put it on my strips, then it might end up being like a lot of squishing out. So if I put it on the white, then I have less squishing out. Okay, and then we'll start with the bottom piece. I'm just going to push those up a little. And then this piece is going to come up here like that. So let's continue with putting it on the white. Here we go. It's okay to have lots of leftover bits. You probably find that, you know, you could even get away with 5. Oops, there you go. See, out of habit, I just put the glue right on there. So it's a darn good thing I'm using my silicone mat so that when it squishes out on the edge here, it's going to be a-okay. And hopefully it'll dry before I'm ready to, that's better, before I'm ready to cut it off. But if your scissors get all gluey, because that happens, then just grab one of those adhesive, like some hand sanitizer, or those little adhesive things they put on your arm, alcohol wipe things they put on your arm if you're getting a needle or blood taken or something. That works too. All right, so this is going to come up here. Rather non-exact science. I think I've got a little white showing there, but that's okay. We can live with that. And then this one's going to go in here. Have you done this before? I feel like this just takes a little thinking so that your patterns are nicely covered off. And it does really help to have something to reference, like my card I made ahead of time here. Okay. Now, naturally, if you did this with, say, 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch pieces, you're going to be cutting a lot more strips and fitting them together. All right, so that's what the front looks like. Doesn't look like it's going to fit onto our lemon lime twist at all. So we're going to flip it over, and on the back you're going to see where all your excess is, and you're going to follow your 3 3/4 by 5 inch white piece with your scissors to cut this off. So you just line your scissors up along the edge of it, like this. And just follow along. I'm not cutting into the white at all. I'm just using it as a guide with my scissors. You could put this in your paper trimmer, but I got to be honest, what ends up happening is the glue squishes out and gets all over my paper trimmer, which I'd rather didn't happen. Maybe if I was a little less messy. But I still feel like if I was trying to put this down with another adhesive, that they would get stuck, and then I wouldn't be happy with the result. All right, so we're going to cut across here. Get this last little bit snipped off, and there we go. And so if you have a spot that's just kind of missed or it's a little too much, whatever you put with your greeting is going to cover it up. It'll be fine. So then this mat's on here pretty nicely. I think this makes a really nice happy birthday. It's really bright and cheery. I'm just going to layer this on here. Maybe I'll just pop it up on dimensionals for the card base. And every one that you do is going to be a little different. So with my original one, while we're waiting for that to dry, I did have kind of directional papers. So this one here kind of had to go that way. It looks strange coming down. So if your paper's directional, where it's got an obvious up and down, you want to think about that with the placement of the pieces. And you're just trying to pull papers that work together. So any of our paper packs pretty much have enough that's going to work together for that. This was the Tea Boutique paper. from last year's catalog. Now here's a stamp set I really don't use often called Biggest Wish. I thought it was great for these kinds of cards with a big circle. You're going to find that I use the stylish shapes a lot. There's circles, squares, and I guess banners, and they're all stitched. So I love how that looks. I'm just going to get this on here in case I go over. Pulling in the Lemon Lime Twist and Azure Afternoon. So the Azure is a little bit darker. So I'm going to do the birthday first. So this has Thanks, Birthday, Happy, Hello, and Friend in 2 different fonts. So I'm putting the swirly font here on the background. Here's some other ways that I've done this with other ink colors on a different label, just to kind of give you an idea of having the happy go this way. It's going to be difficult for that to fit this big one, so the swirly birthday kind of fits a little bit better, and it kind of depends how light or dark your ink is to play with that. It's a neat stamp set. All right, so let's grab the birthday. Now, one thing you'll notice when you have photopolymer stamp sets is that they now have a printed sheet, and it's backwards. I mean, I agree, that's not the best, but you can usually find where they go. And so this helps you put your stamps back in the case and know you're not missing any. Remember how we used to keep before the cling, when we had the clear mount, I think they were called, red rubber stamps, and we used to keep the rubber piece that you push them out of, and then we'd know that we had all our stamps back. Well, this works the same way. So it helps you just, work on having your stamps and not losing them, because let's face it, that's not fun. I'm just reaching over here for another block for my happy. And one of the best ways to actually mount these on your block is to put the stamp face down on the paper and then pick it up, because sure as shooting, if you go to do it this way, it's going to go crooked, or worse yet, it may get a bubble of air in between. So if it's laid down here and you use your paper, grid paper or lines or something as a guide, you have a way better chance of getting it on there straight. All right, let's see how dark Lemon Lime Twist is going to be. That's okay. Let's do a trial run on this whole thing right here. And there's Azure Afternoon. All right, so if we were to do full strength Lemon Lime Twist and say stamped off happy, how does that look? Too light. Okay, I think I do like this. Radio, we know what we're doing. So let's get our birthday down first across here. It's a circle, so we don't have to worry too much about the placement, just so long as we get it left to right centered. And then we'll grab the Azure and get this on the front. There we go. Happy birthday. And the inks tend to dry a little lighter once they are fully dry on your paper. We'll leave that. Okay. And then I want to add a little bit of Baker's Twine. So this is the 2022-2024 in color. I did just show you the Parakeet Party. But once you get into Baker's Twine, like honestly, it looks so much the same that you're pretty darn close. So I'm going to do a double bow. So I'm going to pull this as what, about, let's see here, oops, let me move you up, about 8, so 16 inches, plenty. I'm going to cut it so I have 2 pieces of 8 inches on here. And I'm going to literally tie my bow with both pieces together. And that's how you get the double bow. There we go. Pull the end around. Even it up a little bit. Decide how floppy we want it to go. Here's the one that I did before. And by that I mean like little ends that are hanging down. And I'm going to grab a glue dot to put this in place at the bottom here. And I probably would put some embellishments around it as well. Something fun. Rhinestones are always good with these kind of bright colors, so these are mostly brights. The azure and the pink in here is called Berry Burst, and it's a former in color as well. I think it was in with Lemon Lime Twist, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So we've got Lemon Lime Twist, Azure, and the Berry Burst, and then there's a lemon, I think it's Daffodil Delight actually in that paper. What does it say? What does it say? It says on these, and it's a good idea, by the way, to keep these, and when you have the big paper packs, they come, you could cut this down too, it's kind of in the center of the bottom right. It has Lemon Lolly, which is one of the new subtle colors. All right, so that's nice and dry and ready to go. We'll add some dimensionals to that to pop it up. But I think that the Parakeet Party Baker's Twine is perfect on here. There we go. Pop this up. So then let's add some rhinestones. I think I'm just going to use the basic ones. On these ones I might have used pearls just to kind of soften it a little bit, but these are like bright colors. Let's add some shine and some glitter or glitz and glam. And we'll just use the big ones. I don't use the big ones a lot, so why don't I use the big ones off the bottom of these? There we go. And we'll put one over here and one up here and another big one. Sometimes I like to go big, medium, small. There. Make that sort of triangular look, and that just kind of brightens it up a little bit. All right, now it's going to go on the card base, which we have prepared already. And this is how you use up some of those strips. Always good to hang on to them. You never know where they might come in handy. So those are the pieces I had left over, which might have done the corners nicely as well. So 6 to 8 strips will do it. All right, what a beautiful birthday card. I think anybody would love to get this one. Super simple, pops up, brings some joy and some happy to people. All right, that's my card for tonight. Thanks for popping by and watching. Wednesday night I'm back at 7 o'clock. And we're going to do a layout card. I don't want to show you. I'm going to post a preview kind of teaser card, but we're going to do a fun fold on Wednesday at 7. So be back here and we'll do that together. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. Bye now.